Welcome to the 5-Minute Bark. We're here today and we have an exciting show for you guys here. We have a visionary coach and spiritual mentor, Bille Allen, on the show here today, and she is amazing. I got a chance to talk to her before the show. She was invited to the show by Michelle Guklich, if I said that right. She might spank me because she's actually right behind me as we record here today. Yes, we got a really cool show here today. I always love having other people that are like-minded and excited about their passion, their job, and we have Bille Allen here today. Say hello, Bille.
Hello, everyone.
How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful.
Are you excited?
I am.
Okay. Bille, I want to first tell everybody about Life Coach and what they do or what you do in that area. I know we talked about before some different things, so why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you?
Okay. See. Well, I can tell you, I actually do a lot of things, but my big thing is, just helping people live in their space of passion and helping people make their dreams come true.
That's that simple.
Yeah. Miracles.
Miracles. You make miracles happen.
Miracles. Yep.
All the time.
All the time.
So tell us about, okay, we talked earlier before the show, and I really like this, how you were talking about when you were younger, you kind of knew what you were going to be when you grew up. So can we go into that a little bit? That was really fun to hear that, and I think it's really cute, and I think the people in the audience would like that. So
Thanks. Yeah, so it wasn't so much about knowing what I was going to do. I did figure that out in about middle school, but I was always interested in the mind, and I was always interested in kind of figuring things out about the mind, and I actually was reading parenting magazines since I could read, helping with my sister. But yeah, so I started to do all these different things with the mind, and I didn't realize until I started learning exactly what I was doing. I didn't actually realize all these things that I actually had been doing, but I had been doing these things since I was a little kid. I figured out things about, one thing I figured out was this thing about novelty and time, and how new experiences actually slow down time. And I think I figured that out when I was around 10. I remember where I was, and I remember my sister and I had spent the day together with her friend, and we were doing all new things that day. Everything, not purposely, it just was that's how it happened. And I remember realizing that day seemed so long. It seemed like multiple days. And from realizing that, I noticed that again with travel. When I travel somewhere, I could go away for a weekend, and that weekend felt like weeks. But when I was home in a monotonous routine, weeks or months or sometimes a year felt like a week. So that was something that I realized that has been with me, and that's part of my
whole life.
Yeah.
Your whole life experience.
And then there were times in the past that I can remember. Now that I know what changing state is, I can look back in my past and I can see times where I changed state just from deciding something different, how I was going to show up. Now I do it very consciously, and I can teach people how to do that.
How do you feel about, more and more society? God, if we just rewind 10, even 5 years ago, but we'll just say 10 for the heck of it. How more and more people are becoming more in tune with themselves and more, I guess, energized or awake. I guess some people use the word awake. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about that? Isn't this exciting new era really that we're in? There's more coaches showing up all the time. I've introduced many here on the show, and more people just kind of coming out and helping other people and helping them understand themselves and understand all the things you pretty much teach. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I think it's wonderful. Yeah. I think that it's we see it a lot in San Diego because this is like the hub.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think it's happening, even in a lot of places a lot of countries even where you wouldn't expect to see that. And I think it's wonderful. Yeah. And
the funny thing is I guess we're finding more and more back in time, like before, civilization was even existing, that they were already doing this stuff that we're kind of.
Oh yeah, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere, and all the things, and the more you read, the more you see is like, oh my God, we're just I don't know, kind of catching up with our old self or something, mm-hmm. and learning more about that. So tell us, I want to really kind of get into how you help people and maybe some great examples of people you really change. You don't have to mention names, of course, mm-hmm. but just really some really interesting stories. Do you have anything really you can really show people to help them believe in coaches? Because a lot of people don't really understand it yet. We all need coaches, and we talk about over and over again. All the professional athletes have several coaches. All the the political people out there have coaches that help them speak, help them walk, help them stand, help them think, help everything. So some people don't even have one coach. how can you convince them that they maybe should start with one coach?
Well, I mean, I don't convince people,
Right.
first of all. I just show people.
Show people.
And so basically, I mean, there's so many things. Let me think of a few. Let's see. Well, there's a fun story.
Okay, go ahead. Shoot it.
So, I mean, there's
Shoot
millions.
from the hip.
So one fun story is that I had a client who was having trouble with her sales calls. And she felt blocked and she hadn't been making them. She admitted she had not been making them because she just, every time she made them, she felt very uncomfortable.
Sounds like me.
Yeah. So I said, well, knowing how the mind works and everything like that, I said, what if you come up, you're on the phone making the call, so no one can see you. I said, what if you come up with the most interesting, outside the box way that you can do this so that you can actually trick your brain. Well, it's not really trick your brain because it really is a whole new experience, but actually convince your brain that you're not the same person you were before. This is a completely different experience, and make it fun. Make it fun and inspiring. That's what I say about everything. You can make every experience fun and inspiring. You can level.
Absolutely.
I call it level 10 it. You can level 10 any experience. So, we went through this inquiry, and I wanted her to come up with her own answer. I feel funny because I'm like, oh, this is about someone. But yeah, so it's really cool because what she ended up doing was she ended up making her sales calls naked.
Ooh.
With red lipstick and red heels.
So she went big.
And it worked.
Yep.
Yeah.
And she just started talking to people, connecting with them, getting things to happen.
Yeah, because now it was, you push yourself out of this hole. We get stuck in this
comfort zone kind of thing.
Yeah, well, we get stuck too in believing that our personality and our blocks and things like that are actually who we are.
Right.
Yeah.
I saw and read on TV that this company, I don't know, it's in San Francisco or something like that, they had all their employees come to work naked to strip them of their identities, so to speak, and get along better and really form a team. I mean, we've heard of different things. I mean, obviously that's getting to the extreme, but more and more people are kind of finding ways to come outside their box. And that was kind of a...
Yeah, I don't know about that whole employee. I don't know that I want to see all my...
No, I don't either, but I guess that just kind of leaves things wide open, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Awesome stuff. So we were going to title this event here today by a certain thing. And I wrote it down and I deleted it somehow, or it didn't transfer from that computer to over here. What was the title of the show for today for you?
How to live in the space of passion.
All right. How to live in the space of passion. So where are we going to start with this?
Well, we can start anywhere.
Okay.
How about right now?
All right. So live in the state of passion. So I feel like I'm always in passion. I'm always in passion mode more often than not. Obviously, we're not always in it, but how can we get our guests to find ways to find passion? Because some people tend to, let's say, get up on the negative side of the bed, right? How can we kind of get them to change their state into a passionate start to the day?
Well, people, the interesting thing is that most people don't realize that inspiration and passion and things like that can be created in any moment. And when I talk about living in the space of passion, what I'm really talking about is, for example, Earl Nightingale talks about how, let's see, forgetting the exact quote.
That's okay.
Let me think.
We have plenty of time.
So Earl Nightingale, he talks about how, so he talks about that success is I know this perfectly, but it's because I'm on here. But it's basically something like the pursuit of a worthy ideal, something like that. And the thing is that what most people think is they think that they're going to get to a certain place, and that's where they're going to have success. That's where they're going to have fulfillment. That's where they're going to have passion. Doesn't exist.
Right.
Okay. It's all happening right now. So this pursuit of a worthy ideal, I love this expression because really when you think about it, where passion lies is the space in between all of this. It's setting, an inspiring goal, setting an inspiring challenge, really, living outside of the box, really being fully self-expressed, and setting these goals that push our limits and challenge us.
Yep.
And being in that space of passion is the exciting part. It's like I was mentioning to you before about runners. Runners don't get to the end of the race and say, "Yay, I did it." They say, "When's the next race?" Yeah,
right.
When's the next race?
Right.
And if you look at a traveler, I've traveled a lot in my life. I've been to over 30 countries, and travel, one of the pieces of travel, it's not about arriving. It's, there's a kind of cliche to say it's about the journey, but it really is. And when a traveler gets back home, they're planning the next trip. Sometimes before they get back home. Usually before they get back home, they're planning the next trip.
What's funny is, and I may be wrong on this, but I'm just saying this because we're on microphones, but people plan their trips so far in advance. I think the trip itself happens before the trip even goes and happens, right? Because they're so into the planning of it, the excitement of it, the intensity of it. Because I'm a big goal guy. I have this crazy, ridiculous 20 level goal sheet. It's like dog goals, speaking goals, pushing goals, everything. And I go back and I look back at years ago what I did, and like accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to say that again. I looked back 5 years and I realized I accomplished. But I never knew I accomplished them.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're saying is like so valuable, because it's really the journey that you're wanting to enjoy. That your journey is everything, everybody out there. And she's really kind of telling you something that's so true. Enjoy every second and moment of that journey. Keep going.
Okay. So, there are lots of, one thing that I did too as a traveler is as I started traveling, I started to look at what's so great about travel. Why do I love travel, and why is it so different from when I'm at home? Why does the time pass so much more quickly when I'm at home? And I started to realize these things and cultivate these things, because I made sort of a goal to become a traveler at home, to know how to recreate this experience. And what I realized, things that I did were, I took time for myself. I journaled, I read, and important thing is I actually followed my intuition. So I would maybe set out a goal, but I wasn't attached to how it was going to happen. I somehow believed, because I've always kind of had a sense of the universal laws, and before I ever knew what they were.
Right.
And I believed I would set an intention. I didn't call it an intention. And it was fun stuff. Like, I'm in Madrid and I'm going to find people to hang out with and something to do, and I have 5 hours for New Year's. And it would just happen, because I would just say, I'm going to find these incredible people. This is going to happen. And I would do it. And it was just fun goals, fun things, but I would set the goal, and then I wouldn't worry about the details, and I would just flow. And these really, really cool experiences would happen because I was open to it. I wasn't trying to control the experience. And that's the thing. And there's one thing, and I kind of say it where it sounds a little bit, I guess you could say, like I say, what I've learned, one big thing I've learned is that once you set an intention, you can't micromanage. It's just like if you have an employee, if you micromanage, you're only going to get limited results.
I had a guest come on and use this scenario as you plant a tree, you just put water on it. You don't sit there and watch it all day long. It grows. It's going to get bigger, and it's going to get bigger, and it just grows.
Right.
And you trust that that's going to grow.
Right. And so if you're standing over the tree, you're going to put the shadow there, and it's going to have trouble growing.
Right.
Nobody wants a shadow over them. They want to be able to do what they're going to do. And the universe has much better ideas and more interesting ideas if you just let it. It's just like an employee. You let the employee be creative and come up with their own, ideas, and you're going to get things that you couldn't have possibly anticipated.
Well, I think a lot of people, let's just say, I want to make $1 million. Mm-hmm. Okay. And they go and they set that intention, and all of a sudden their life just goes in this direction that they didn't even want that goal to go, but life's taking you that direction. They fight it. And you're not going to make the $1 million the way you thought you did.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to make $1 million selling iPhones. Well, on the journey, you might learn that people need a case for that iPhone. Mm-hmm. And you might not sell $1 million with iPhones. You might sell $20,000 with iPhones, but you might sell $2 million in cases. So you get the whole, like, you got to trust that you said, I want $1 million, but you have to focus on the $1 million, not how you think.
Right. And that's the idea of this or something better.
Right.
So it's, this or something better, so that you can ask for, like, let's say, someone says, well, I want this, I want to be with this person. I want to marry this person,
That can happen pretty quick.
And meanwhile, this person could actually be married with kids.
It's got to watch the intentions, right?
It might not be, the most, but there's, really that's not the commitment, because a commitment is something that you can't fail at.
Yeah.
So the commitment is something that even if you don't get what you want, you keep going with it. So if you're committed to, you might say you're committed to this, being with this person, but what you're really committed to is something different. It's more something like having a loving relationship, it's certain something like that. So that no matter what happens, you're gonna keep that commitment. It doesn't shift.
Right.
People get in trouble because they get attached to specifics.
Exactly.
They get attached to the house.
That's yeah.
And it doesn't work, because I've practiced it all ways.
Yeah.
I can tell you that doesn't work.
What she's saying is so important to understand. I'd love you to repeat it for people.
Okay. So this is what you have to do. Set a really powerful intention. And this stuff works and it's fun. You can just do it for fun if you just want to play with it. Set a really powerful intention. You put it out there. You say what you want. And then you just show up. And you keep showing up. And your plan doesn't matter that much. The point is to keep showing up, getting in that momentum, being in action, and then stuff will start to show up. It's taking that leap of faith. You take a leap of faith, and then once you take that leap of faith, you remain open. You remain receptive, and you don't try to micromanage. You've delegated it. And now you can, you don't want to, I don't want to say, you can relax, but you still want to be in action, because the universe loves motion.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to be in momentum, and we want to be in aligned action. And the way to be in aligned action is to focus on what you want and let go. Like in a coaching session, I'll tell you, sometimes if I start to feel attached to an outcome, I will tell myself, let go, let go, let go, let go. And that's when it works. That's when I have the breakthroughs.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I wanted to try to do the right thing and get the right question and, do it the right way. But that isn't what works. What works is letting go, being guided.
Awesome. And I want to keep going with this other stuff we were doing here. I mean, we're talking about being open, because we're telling people you can have what you want, right?
Oh, definitely.
And they're going, well, you're telling me hocus pocus, and that's baloney. But the whole thing you're missing, and everybody's missing, and myself included, is, and I still do it on occasions, is you're just not open to it. And what we mean by open is like, you're just like you were saying here, you're just letting things happen. I mean, it's happened so much recently with me, is how I've just opened. I mean, yesterday and today, it's just, things just open up, and it's like, you just let it all in. It's almost like taking your shirt off and showing your body, and like, we're really embarrassed with it. But if you're letting your inside, I believe this, I can't say the whole world believes this, but I feel you're two people. You're one, your inner being and your physical body, and you let your inner being, show you the way. It's like, okay, let's play this game, and it's really fun, and things happen. It just happens over and over and over again, and in consistency. And of course we come back and we go, oh my God, this is a little scary, that things are really happening. And then we shut it up, we close it off. So, I mean, as beings, we're learning more to stay open to it and open to it. But I just love how you're just talking about that and sharing with people, because every guest continues on. They reinforce that, and we're not just making this stuff up,
Right. And when something shows up, this is important too, because I've been through this, where something will show up and I'm looking behind me like, is it for that person?
Yeah, right.
You have to really claim it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this showed up. I asked for it. It showed up. It's mine. And stay in that energy of success. So even though, passion is, this space to get to, when you achieve something, you want to celebrate it.
Yes.
You want to notice, hey, you know what? I had this, because you'll be, whatever you focus on, you will attract. So a lot of times people start focusing on, they start getting terrified. Like they'll get what they want, and then they're just so terrified they're going to lose it. Mm-hmm. And the terror has them lose it, because now they're focusing on what they don't want. Yeah. It's just like when you're learning to drive, and the driving instructor says, don't look at things on the side of the road, because you're going to go toward it. Yeah. And it's the same way with life. If you focus on what you don't want, it's going to show up. If you focus on what you want, it's going to show up.
Yeah. It's making me remind me of, like, maybe I guess this is the easiest way to mentally picture, if you guys want to mentally picture this with me, is like, I want to go whitewater rafting. That would be so much fun. Oh my God, we'd be floating in a tube going down the river. But then you get in it and you're in it, and like, you're really moving and you have no control of it, but it's really fun, and you're going down, and all of a sudden you get bumped off things and rolling down, and it's like, oh my God, what am I doing? I'm in this thing, and it's really fun. But it's kind of like what life is in your head when you're thinking of things. It's like you're in this moment.
And that's the perfect example too, because life comes up with a series of challenges. When you take something on, you're going to get a series of challenges. I don't know if you know about the hero's journey, Joseph Campbell, but you're going to get a series of challenges. This is the way life works. However, there is no suffering unless you resist it.
Mm-hmm.
So the challenges come up, you go with it. Just like with the whitewater rafting, you go with it. If you don't resist it, you're gonna just keep going. You're gonna be fine. So that's the key.
And I mean, let's explain resistance. Like your body tightens. I mean, perfect example is let's just take this interaction right here. I mean, in the beginning, we're both kind of like, where's this gonna go? We're tightened up. We're not sure. Our mouth's not flowing. We're not. We're resisting it a little bit, but if you just finally now we're in it's like, I want to talk forever. I want to talk to this girl forever here. And now we're like loose and we're having fun and we're enjoying it. And it's, it's all just coming out, and you don't have to worry about your water. Nobody's going to see it. So it's just, you know what I mean? It's like resisting, let go. Now we let go, and now we can talk about anything, and we're really having fun. And that's just how everything is, That's how everything is.
Yep.
So can we leave with some tips for some people out there to help them out? Since you're an expert, all this kind of stuff, how about some tips that we can give them that are something some little exercise so they can kind of believe in this,
Okay. Well, first of all, I just want to say that, for the people who are skeptical, I will tell you that I don't just believe in things blindly.
Right.
I believe in things because they're measurable and repeatable. I see them again and again and again, and I believe in what works. So that's why I believe in this stuff.
Love it.
I'm going to be clear about that.
She's standing up right there and saying it right to you guys. Yeah. She's not messing around.
And you don't have to believe me. You can figure it out for yourself. Try it out. So that's what we'll do. These are some exercises. So one thing about, let's see. So we'll start with some basic stuff, and then I'll go into more quantum stuff. So basic mindfulness. So here's one thing that most people don't know is that if you are in control of your breath, you are in control of your life. You cannot experience anxiety if you cannot experience anxiety if you have control of your breath. You regain control of your breath, it goes away, it dissipates. And I want to throw something out there actually.
Go for it.
Because I actually just
the mic is yours.
I just want to kind of do some acknowledge myself, since I'm talking about acknowledging.
Why not?
Because I just did a 30 days of being fearless challenge, and we had some amazing results. We had over 500 people participating, and one of the things that I did in that challenge, which I didn't even know was going to be a result, honestly, I knew that I was taking it on, and I knew that I had the tools, but I really put it in action. And what I was able to do was take on my lifelong fear of heights and knock it out in just days.
Wow.
Gone. And started rock climbing.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Like rock climbing? Like
rock climbing
inside a gym or like?
No, outside.
Wow.
Outside, yeah. Yeah, the real deal.
And how do you feel now about it?
Oh, it's amazing because, we have, a lot of coaches, we have the tools, and a lot of, even people out, in the world, we have the tools. We have to remember to keep using the tools.
Yep.
Kind of like Napoleon Hill said when he was coming up with the name of his book. He said, I went through 600 titles in months and I couldn't think of a name. He said, but here I have the tools in the first place. Yep. He's like, but this is the thing. We fool around and we fool around and we fool around, and we don't use the tools until the very last minute. Yeah. But we have the tools available, and I know how the mind works, and I knew, from theory that this was possible, and then I did it, and it was really cool.
Yeah.
So
self-taught.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
because sometimes we all, no matter who we are, we need coaches. Even Tiger Woods, like I keep on saying this in every podcast, but he is a golfer and he has a coach, and yet he's the best in the world. So
right.
And he has other people telling him how to golf. Go figure, right? So
even
coaches, we look to people and for advice, because we're always growing. We're growing. We're learning. We're always learning from different people in different ways and different things in that realm. So one last tip.
Okay, so
we're over time, but I just want to, because you're so good at this.
Okay, let's see some tips. So I didn't really give I've given sort of tips. So let's see. One tip is so with the breath, to really take. So there are a few different exercises you can do. One easy getting in the moment exercise is to focus on the 5 senses. So what you do is you actually in whatever moment you're in, if you really want to be present in that moment. Really want to slow down. And the best, I think Thich Nhat Hanh, I don't know exactly how to say it, but the way he says is that the best gift you can give anyone is your presence. So in any situation, and yourself. So in any situation that you're in, you can slow things down. And he even says to slow things down like 3 times. And start to notice. You start to notice with your 5 senses. Notice what you see, and really, really notice, vividly. Notice what you hear. Notice what you smell and what you taste, and then what you feel externally, what you feel in your body. And when you just take a moment to do that, that gets you present. That can get you present in any moment. And it slows things down. And when you focus on your breath, even if you're just noticing your breath, that will get you present in the moment. And it can actually, doing that can shift you out of any situation that you're in and get you able to redirect. So it's really, really, really valuable.
Very valuable. I've tried it several times. There's an app I downloaded on my phone. It's called Headspace, and they do that in everything. It's like, just stop yourself, go to your senses, feel the seat, feel your butt on the seat, feel your toes on the floor, feel your hair moving and the wind and everything, and then you just slowly get yourself in the moment, and then you're able to clear your mind. And if stuff does come in your mind, you just shoot right past, and you're not like grabbing onto it and going, oh my God, I'm going to die, So awesome.
And one other thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the last thing, since we spoke about this a little bit, just to be clear, a really powerful, amazing tool is to set an intention. And I love writing things down. Writing accesses a different part of the brain, and it makes things even more powerful. And write things down. I suggest getting a journal and write down your intention. You're going into a moment, you're going somewhere. This is really great when you're traveling too, because when you travel, you're already going into a novel scene, so your brain is more open to reinvention. And you set an intention for something, and you set that intention, and then you believe that it's been done, taken care of. You let go. You go into experience knowing that you have that intention, and just watch, just notice. And things start showing up. It's really fun. I
like that. Just kind of, I'm visualizing with you on this. Like, just kind of, you're pulling it along with you. You're not really, grabbing you, just letting it come.
Right. And if I'm working on big goals and I want to just reinforce my own belief, because I think it's something that we have to keep reinforcing, that we have faith, I just make up fun goals, little fun goals. Yep. And then I see the evidence, and that makes me believe even more in my big goals. So if you have $1 million, sometimes people set their sights so big that they're not seeing any progress. But what you want to do is set fun goals too. What would be really fun, and then start setting these little fun goals and stuff that can happen, even though it seems like, I've had stuff that normally would never happen, but it's something that it could happen. Like, it could happen, in this experience, in this. Yeah. So it's really cool. That's what I suggest. Make some fun goals, like really just some cool. Wouldn't it be cool if goals?
Find a parking spot when I go to Starbucks in the morning.
Exactly. Like, find a parking spot, or, there's so many fun little things that you can do with it. And and we can't go into this either, but I've found stuff that would have been normally perpetually lost. I've had crazy results for that too. So there's a lot more things you can do. Nice. But we could go on all day.
Good. We got all day for you. So if people want to engage with you and maybe work with you, what are some things you should tell them about you and your style of work, or anything about you that's different or inviting? This is your chance to shine and tell us, if we want to come with you, what can we expect? Okay, well, passion. This is your show. Passion. I'm the Bille Allen Show. You're live. One thing is, I am a relentless enthusiast. Okay. And that's one of the reasons I've gotten the things that I have in my life, and it's one of the reasons it's something, people can show up with any challenge, and I truly believe that anything is possible. So I'm just, instead of focusing on the problem, I just cut through. Like, nothing intimidates me. No problem intimidates me. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, well, how are we going to solve it? Let's work on it.
So it's like, for me, it's kind of like a puzzle. It's like a puzzle. Like, how to, what do we do? And then you use the tools, and I'm very conscious of the tools I use, and I record them, and I go back and I see what worked. So I've gotten down these systems that I know work. So when somebody throws something at me, they're like, oh, this is life or death. I'm like, nope. So you take notes and you analyze when you're working with your clients. You actually. Well, actually, I don't. So with my clients, I do too. But a lot of times I'm using I use the stuff because every day I'm doing this in my own life. Right. So there's stuff that I know works, and I can see a situation because I understand how, the brain works, because I understand how the universe works, because I am my own lab.
Yep.
And then I also have clients that I work with. I know all these crazy things that are possible.
Right.
So, yeah, so that's one thing. I'm just like, people, don't want to sometimes people don't want to make big claims, like, and I'm not going to say specifically that, I can do A, B, C, D, E, but I know that anything's possible. So
right.
that to me, like there is no limit.
Right.
So that's one thing. Another thing is, let's see.
I think the key with that is the people have to be willing and able, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have to be willing and able at the same time.
Yeah. Well, people have to actually take this stuff on.
Right.
And that's really key.
Because, you could take me and you can't, you have to do the work. She guides you in the best way possible,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to actually do the work.
Right. And
let's face it.
And my goal in every session is a miracle. So I start the beginning of a session and I say, we're going to create a miracle. That's what we do.
Right.
So, I'm not afraid to say that because
Yep.
I know that that's what happens.
Awesome.
And that's always my intention. I set that intention. And when I set that intention, I'm actually pulling in a consciousness higher than me to help me out.
That's awesome.
Like, we're going to create a miracle. Like me, you, and whatever's helping me.
Yeah, there you go.
So, and we do. And then, and we've just done, I've done incredible things, I've healed people's relationships. I've healed people's relationships with people who weren't even living anymore. Anything's possible, honestly.
Awesome.
And it can happen very fast. And the other thing is, I love helping people with their dreams.
Helping with them,
with their dreams.
Okay.
Yeah. And helping them actually see bigger dreams than they thought. Because over time, sometimes we start to think smaller and smaller. We start to believe in limitations. And I don't believe in limitations. So
I love it. You're getting so excited. You get me going. She's in state. And she's giving it all to you guys out there. And she's rocking and rolling here. Okay. I'm convinced. The audience is convinced. How do they find you?
Okay. So
Facebook, website,
yeah, and
Google.
let me just say two other things too.
Go ahead.
So,
yeah, take your time.
Sorry, I keep adding things. But so my website is coachbilleallen.com. So it's CoachBillieAllen.com. And I do coaching, with one-to-one coaching. I also do intuitive adventures.
Ooh.
And these are a combination of sort of me as as this person who is a coach, me as this person who is, very in tune with mindfulness, and me as this person who is also, really loves, the idea of travel and just following your intuition. But the whole thing is focused on you and everything that you want to create. So it's the whole day of self-discovery, of creating miracles, and very exciting. Just exploring internally and externally, and just who knows what will happen.
Awesome.
So that's one. And then the other thing that these two are fairly new. And the other thing is after I did this rock climbing thing and challenged my fear of heights, my friend Chance and I were actually creating rock climbing adventures. So if people want to do that, either they want to challenge their fears or they just want to learn coaching in a really cool environment, because you're doing stuff in the moment, so it's really easy to put the tools in place right in the moment.
Right. There you go.
That's another way to work with me. And then, and like I said, then I also have the coaching packages where we work on, different goals and create, these really inspiring visions and then live into them.
Oh, that's awesome. So the website, and you're the first guest that did not use www in front.
Oh, you don't need it anymore.
I know.
I'm ahead of the game.
No, you're ahead of the game. So I had to declare that today, that you are the first person that did not use www. But so awesome. So there you have it. BilleAllen.com. Right?
Coach Bille Allen.
CoachBilleAllen.com. I kept on wanting to say Billie Jean because I said that before the show. So
okay.
It's Bille Allen. It's CoachBilleAllen.com. You got it out there? I'm going to say it one more time slowly. CoachBilleAllen.com. And that's Bille, Billie. Mm-hmm. All right. Awesome. Thank you for coming on here today. It was a pleasure. We did some amazing things here in the show, and I was inspired by it, and I hope my guests were inspired as well, and I hope you enjoyed your time on the 5-minute bark. Was
Thank you, Dennis. I really appreciate it.
It was awesome.
Thank you.
Reach over. Even though people can't see it out there, but that's it for today, everybody. We had an amazing podcast, and of course, every single one gets fun, exciting, different, interesting, all those things. So the 5-minute mark, I hope you continue to listen. We're on iTunes, YouTube, and everywhere. And that's it for today, everybody. Talk soon. One critical thing highly successful people do is organize their goals and write them down. Success doesn't just happen to you, it's created by you. If you are ready to create a roadmap to greater success, you may want to listen to what I'm about to say. We have developed an online success platform that offers 6 critical tools for creating and implementing your success plan. If you're ready to turbocharge your personal development and success in every area of your life, it's time for you to join Team Cody Dog by visiting CodyDog.com. That's CODIEDOG.com.